विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांतरत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्प्रद 1 minute.
So, just because Prabhuji is not around, and Baldev speaking to Rukmani, he gave the example of Jyotishi, any luminous planet reflected in different reservoir of water or nabha. And Uddhav, he Krishna speaks to Uddhav is that is moon reflected in different pots.
We began the so far in the Bhagavad Sandarbha, Paramatma Sandarbha. So in the first Anucheda, we saw the definition of the Paramatma. We saw in detail about the existence of the Paramatma apart from the Jivatma. We discussed the first Anucheda in detail. And then the second Anucheda, Jiva Goswami began with the three Vishnus. Vishnustu Trini Rupani, Purushakyan Yato Viduhu. From the Sadvata Tantra Shloka. Then he explained the first Vishnu, first Purusha. And then third and fourth Anucheda, he described the second and third Purusha, Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. And then fifth, sixth, and seventh, in three Anuchedas, he described the oneness of the many Purushas. How there is only one Purusha. He is present as the Mahavishnu. He is present as the one Mahavishnu and unlimited Garbhodakshay Vishnus and unlimited Kshirodakshay Vishnus. And then, so in this way, after discussing the Paramatma, this Paramatma has got two portions, Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. Vibhinnamsha consists of the living entities. They will be described from Anucheda 19 onwards. So first Swamsha is described. In Swamsha comes the category of the avatars. The guṇāvatāras will be described in the Krishna Sandarbha, but the guṇāvatāras are going to be described from the 8th Anucheda to 18th Anucheda. For that he quoted the shloka spoken by Drumila to Nimi Maharaj. Once more we'll recite the shloka. Can repeat after me. Ādāvabhūt Chatadriti Rajasasya Sarge. Somebody can repeat.
आदावबुच्यत धृतिरजसास्य सर्गे
विष्णुस्तिथौ क्रतुपतिर्द्विजधर्मसेतुः
विष्णुस्थितो क्रतुपतिर्द्विजधर्मसेतु
रुद्रो ययाय तमसा पुरुषः स आद्य
रुद्रोऽयप्यहाय तमसा पुरुषः स आद्य
इत्युद्भवस्थितिलया सततं प्रजासु
इत्युद्भवस्थिततिलया सतन्तप्रजासु.
So the primeval person united with the Rajas appeared in the beginning as Brahma. Shatadhriti refers to, I think, Brahma. Shatadhriti refers to Brahma for the creation of this universe. And for sustenance, he appeared as Bhagavan Vishnu, the Lord of the Kratupati, consecrated action, and the protector of Dharma, and the twice born, Vijay Dharma Setuhu. And endowed with tamas, he appeared as Rudra for his destruction. This is how the creation, preservation, and destruction of the generations regularly proceed. Iti udbhava sthitilaya satatam prajasu. Shatadhriti is the name of Brahma, it looks like 11.4.5. Shatadhriti is the name of Brahma. So we discussed the explanation of the shloka, and then the Jiva Goswami is describing the occasions of the descent of Brahma and Rudra are ascertained in the Moksha Dharma. When does Brahma and Shiva appear? That is described in the Mahabharata Moksha Dharma. You can repeat after me. Brahme Ratrikshaye Prapte
ब्राह्मे रात्रिक्षये प्राप्ते
Tasya Hyamita Tejasah
तस्य यमितस्तेजसः
Prasadat Pradurabhavat Prasadat Pradurabhavat
प्रसादात् प्रादुरभवत्
Padmam Padmanibhekshana
पद्मं पद्मं निभेक्षण
Tatra Brahma Samabhavat
तत्र ब्रह्मा समभवत्
Satasyaiva Prasadajah
स तस्यैव प्रसादजः
Aknakshaye Lalatacha
अग्नक्षये ललाटा च
Suto Devasya Vaitata
सुतो देवस्य वै तथा
क्रोधाविष्टस्य संजज्ञे
क्रोधाविशष्टस्य संजङ्गे
रुद्रसंहारकारकः.
रुद्रसंहारकारकः.
So Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. Padma Nibekshana means lotus-eyed Arjuna. So Brahme Ratrikshaye Prapte. When the night of Brahma was over, Prasadat, by the mercy of Bhagavan, who is Amita Tejasa, who has immeasurable prowess, Padmam Pradur Abhavat, a lotus appeared from his navel. Then, by the grace of the same Bhagavan, Tasyaiva Prasadajaha Tatra Brahma Samabhavat. By the grace of the same Bhagavan Aniruddha, Brahma was born from the lotus. Akhnakshaye, at the end of the day, Lalatat, from the forehead of Brahma. The Rudra, the annihilator, was born. samharakarakaha, as Devasya Suta, as the son of Brahma. Lalatat, from his forehead. Krodavishtasya sanjagye, when he was overcome with anger. So these two shlokas talk about when the Brahma and Rudra appear. When does Lord Vishnu appear? The pramana from the third canto of the Bhagavatam. Shri Vishnostu Tritiye Drishyate. Third canto, 8th chapter, 15th shloka. And repeat after me. Talloka Padmam Sayuyeva Vishnuhu.
Tallokapadmam sau eva Vishnu.
Pravivishat Sarvagunavabhasam.
Pravivishat sarvagunavabhasam.
Tasmin Swayam Vedamayo Vidhata.
Tasmin swayam vedamayo vidhata.
Swayam Bhuvam Yam Smavadanti Sobhut.
Swayam bhuvam yam smavadanti sobhut.
So Maitreya is telling to Vidura, O Vidura, Bhagavan Vishnu himself entered that lotus. Sayeva Vishnuhu Tal Loka Padmam Pravi Vishad, entered that lotus which encompasses all the worlds. Tal Loka Padmam, which encompasses all the worlds. Sarva Gunavabhasam, in which all the qualities were apparent. Sarva Gunavabhasam. Then the creator Brahma, who is Vedamaya, the personification of the Vedas, Swayambhu, whom they call self-born, Tasmin Saha Abhut, whom they call self-born, appeared on that lotus. So the meaning of the shloka, Asya Arthaha. Tal Lokatmakam Padmam. Tal Loka Padmam means Tal Lokatmakam Padmam. So that lotus which appeared from the navel of Brahma, that encompassed all the 14 worlds. Sarva Gunan Jiva Bhogyanarthan Avabhasayati iti tata. And it brings to light all the qualities by which is meant the objects to be experienced by the living beings. So that that lotus which encompasses all the worlds, it brings to light all the qualities by which is meant the objects to be experienced by the living beings. Sarva Gunan Jiva Bhogyan Arthan Avabhasayati iti tata. Tad yasma jatam Shri Narayanakyah Purusha Yeva Vishnu Sanyah San Stapana Rupantaryamitāyai Pravi Vishat. So the Purusha called Sri Narayana, from whom this universe was born. Yasmat Jatam. That Narayana took the appellation of Vishnu. He took the name of Vishnu. Vishnu Sanyaha son. And Stapana Rupa Antaryami. And entered the lotus as the Antaryami, who is the maintainer. Pravi Vishat. Pravi Vishat means entered. Avishat means entered, and pra additional upasarga prefix is added. So what is the significance of adding that additional upasarga? Pravi Vishat means prakarshena avishat. What does it mean? Prakarshena avishat. Prakarshena alupta shaktitaya eva avishat. That means Lord Vishnu entered as the Antaryami without losing his transcendental position. He entered in an eminent manner, namely without losing or diminishing any of his powers. That is why that's the significance of the adding the prefix pra. Prakarshena avishat. Alupta shaktitaya eva avishat. So there is a niche pratyaya. It is added in a swarte without changing any meaning. The same niche, the niche pratyaya is used in that term pravi vishat. That's a grammatical thing. Tasmin Shri Vishnuna labdastitau padme punaha srishtyartam svayameva brahma abhut stitasyaiva mrudader gataditaya srishtehe. So, when the lotus had achieved stable existence, Stitasya, because of Bhagavan Vishnu, then he himself next became Brahma for the sake of creation. Because only when the clay is present can clay parts be manufactured. So Lord Vishnu first appeared and then he only became Brahma for the sake of creation. Atayeva sthityadaye haravirinchi hareti sanyaha ityanyatrapi Shri Drumilo Nimim. So in the Bhagavatam first canto, second chapter also it is mentioned. The one supreme takes the names of Hari, Virinchi and Hara for the purpose of sustenance, creation and dissolution. So this is the end of the 8th anuccheda. I'll go through the commentary of this anuccheda. So there is only one absolute reality that manifests in different forms. He manifests both as the regulator and the regulated. Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. His manifestation as the regulator is called Swamsha. As the regulated is called Vibhinnamsha. That is the Jivatma. Swamsha means Swayeva Amshaha. A portion that is he himself. Swayeva Amshaha. Swamsha, Swayeva Amshaha. There is a Avadarana Karmadare Samata. For example, Vidya Danam. Vidya Yeva Danam. Tapodanam. Tapaha Yeva Danam. That is the Vigraha Vakya, explanatory sentence. Similarly, Swamsha means Swayeva Amshaha. A portion that is he himself. So, Swamsha, as the name suggests, does not have the sense or egoism of separate existence or identity. But a Vibhinna Amsha, however, has the self-concept of existing separate from its source. So the true purpose of the separate self-concept is to enable the possibility of love for the Swamsha. But the Jivatma who is overcome with the desire to enjoy, independent of the Swamsha, remains conditioned by Maya and he is unaware of the Swamsha. So there are two domains of being, spiritual and material. So in both these realms, there are various lokas. The spiritual realm also, there are various lokas. Material realm also, there are various lokas. So Krishna is a Swayam Bhagavan and he exists in three aspects in the spiritual locus called Vaikuntha. So according to Laghu Bhagavatamrita, so these three aspects are called Swayam Rupa, Tad Ekatma Rupa and Avesha. Swayam Rupa means its own original form. Tad Ekatma Rupa means forms that are one in essence with its original form. And Avesha Rupa is the empowered forms. So the first category refers to Krishna as he is in his own original form. Swayam Rupa. The second category refers to the forms having the same essential nature as Krishna but differing in appearance, like Ram, Narsimha, Narayana. So this Tadekatma Rupa has got two divisions, Vilasa and Swamsha. Vilasa means forms differing in appearance for the sake of distinct play, for the sake of Leela. Swamsha is self-same portions. The Tadekatma Rupa has two divisions, Vilasa and Swamsha. So Vilasa forms have almost the same potencies as Krishna. Whereas the Swamsha forms have a little less power. So examples of the first, that is Vilasa forms of the Tadekatma Rupa, are Narayana and Vasudeva in Vaikuntha. Examples of the Swamsha forms are Matsya, Kurma and so on, as well as the manifestations of the Purusha or Paramatma. And when a particular Jivatma is empowered with a specific potency of Bhagavan, is called an Avesha. The Shesha is empowered with the potency to hold the universes. Sheshesha Jivatma, but he is empowered with the potency of holding the universes. Bhudharana Shakti. Narada is empowered with the potency of propagating bhakti. So when Bhagavan appears,
Prithu Maharaj also, no?
Prithu Maharaj also. So when Bhagavan appears within the cosmos, which is a manifestation of his extrinsic energy, is called an avatara. So there are three categories of avataras: Purushavatara, guṇāvatāra, and Leelavatara. Leelavatāras will be described in Krishna Sandarbha, because that will be the appropriate context to discuss. And in the philosophical writing, in particular, topics that are raised for discussion should be related to and consistent with what comes before and after in the exposition. Especially when you are writing a philosophical book, it is important that whatever is being discussed, it should be related to the previous topic and the next topic. Therefore, Leelavatara will not be the proper, appropriate prakarana to discuss here. Leelavataras will be described later. Sometimes, like in the Bhagavatam class, what we are going to speak in should be in relation to the shloka actually. And the shloka, but sometimes what we speak is not relevant to the shloka. Although it may be related to Krishna only, sometimes something unrelated to the shloka is spoken. So when you are giving a philosophical discourse, whatever is raised, it should be consistent with what comes before and after. That is called a Sangati. The Sangati is of various types. One is a Prasanga Sangati. That means the context of the relevant subject matter. So the Leelavataras will not be suitable to this current Prasanga. Therefore, Jiva Goswami says the Leelavataras will be described later, Krishna Sandarbha. So Purushavatāras were described in the previous anucchedas. And now guṇāvatāras are 3 in number and they are described in this anuccheda. So Drumila says that how the primeval Purusha accepts three forms to enact the functions of creation, maintenance, and resolution. So Jiva Goswami observes that it is not explicitly stated in the verse that either that Vishnu accepted Sattva Guna for the purpose of sustenance, or that he sustains the cosmos through Sattva Guna. That is not explicitly mentioned in the shloka. In the case of Brahma and Rudra, it is specifically mentioned they accepted Rajoguna and Tamoguna to perform their functions. But in the case of Vishnu, it is not explicitly stated the accepted Sattva Guna. So Jiva Goswami draws the conclusion that this phrasing is meant to show that Vishnu is transcendental to three gunas. Even though he is the support for the function of sustenance, which is carried out through Sattva Guna. Because it would have been improper to state even figuratively that Vishnu is related to with the material Sattva Guna. Yeah, there is but one self-existent Bhagavan and he manifests as Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. But Vishnu, however, remains transcendental to the gunas of Prakriti despite his apparent involvement with that material function. That is why we saw previously in Bhagavad Chandarbha, anuccheda 47, that Vishnu is Vishuddha Sattva, or transcendental being existence, which is completely distinct from the material Sattva Guna. And he enables the function of sustenance by energizing the material Sattva Guna merely through his proximity and not by physically contacting the Sattva Guna. Merely by his proximity, he energizes the Sattva Guna, not by physically contacting it. So, although Vishnu is counted among the guṇāvatāras, but you have to understand that he is not in actual contact with the gunas. So, this point, Jiva Goswami is explained. We discussed during the meaning of the anuccheda. So, Vishnu is called Kratupati because he awards the results of the sacrifices. Kratu is another word for yajna. Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Kratu Prabhu, is initiating guru in ISKCON, Grahastha devotee. He just disappeared from this world, I think yesterday or the day before, in Vrindavan. So Kratupati means master of yajna. So there is also an avatara called yajna. Swayambhu Manu had three daughters, Akuti, Devahuti and Prasuti. So Akuti was given in marriage to the rishi called Ruchi. So Yajna was born for Akuti and Ruchi. So there is also an avatara called Yajna. So lest one confuse the two. Jiva Goswami comments that they are not identical. As Yajna, he is counted among the Leela-avataras. But while as Kratupati Vishnu, he is a guṇāvatāra. So here the Kratupati refers to the Vishnu, who is a guṇāvatāra, but that Yajna, who is a son of Akuti and Ruchi, he is a Leela-avatara. So the guṇāvatāra Vishnu, who is Kratupati, he is Dvija Dharma Setu. Setu means bridge. That means he is the support of Dharma and he who carries the twice born across to their final destination, acting like a bridge over the ocean of material existence. So the verses from Mahabharata are spoken by Krishna to Arjuna in response to the latest query about the meaning of Krishna's names. The form of Bhagavan mentioned here is Aniruddha. This should be taken to mean Pradyumna because it is known that Brahma takes birth from Pradyumna. So the Bhagavatam verse in the third canto specifically mentions that Vishnu entered the lotus of the cosmos and gave it stability. This is the function of Vishnu, the deity of Sattva-guna. Without his presence, nothing would exist. The word Sattva literally means beingness. Sattva, beingness. So this is the 8th anuccheda. And then further, proof of the 3 guṇāvatāras. He quotes another shloka in the next 9th anuccheda from the 3rd canto, 9th chapter. Brahma's prayers to Lord Vishnu. Short anuccheda. Evam, he is quoting only one particular line of the particular prayer, 3.9.16. Evam, Yova aham cha girisham cha vibhusvayam cha. So Brahma prayed to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, obeisances to Bhagavan who manifests himself as the tree of the worlds. Maybe we'll see the complete shloka.
Haribol Prabhuji. Prabhuji, when only one line is quoted in philosophical discussions, so that is also okay, no? Because sometimes, as you explained, that the prefix and suffix verses should also be included. So not full shloka quoting means in previous they used to have some debates also, no? So like this also is it properly done? Means only one line.
Yeah, if one line is quoted appropriately for the right purpose, not trying to screw out some other meaning, then it is fine.
Okay.
So this verse is quoted. The first line is quoted. Yova aham cha girishascha vibhusvayam cha sthityutbhava pralayahetav atma moolam bitva tripad vavridayeka uru prarohas tasmai namo bhagavate bhuvanadrumaya. Obeisances to Bhagavan who manifests himself as the tree of the worlds, Bhuvanadrumaya. Although this tree is one, although this tree is one, after separating out from its root in his own self, it grew into three trunks. Although this tree is one, it grew into 3 trunks. Myself, Vishnu and Shiva. For the sake of creation, sustenance and dissolution. So Brahma is saying myself, that Brahma is speaking the shloka. That Bhagavan manifests as the tree of the world, and that Bhuvanadruma, it expanded into 3 trunks. That is myself, Vishnu and Shiva. For the sake of creation, sustenance and annihilation. And thereafter he expanded into numerous boughs and branches. And those 3 trunks expanded into numerous boughs and branches. So Tripatiti. Tripatiti. Tripat is explained by Sridhar Swami as that very same one tree is 3 path having 3 feet. 3 feet here means 3 trunks in the form of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Tikacha yovai ekastripat trayo brahmadayah pada skanda yasya ityesha. Vriksharupatvena tat varnanadesham skandatvam. Brahma Shri Garbhodashayinam. So because Bhagavan is being described through the metaphor of a tree, these 3 are identified as the trunk. Normally, path can refer to the feet, but here, because Bhagavan is described as the Bhuvanadruma, So these three, Tripath refers to the three trunks. A short commentary. In this verse, the root would be Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the second Purushavatara, and the Vishnu who is counted among the three trunks would be Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, the third Purushavatara. Tripath literally means 3 feet, but Sridhar Swami glasses it as 3 trunks, because the explanation is given in accordance with the metaphor of a tree. So Tripath can also mean 3 divisions. So it is not wrong to interpret it as a trunk. Bhagavad Gita also says that Urdha Moolam Adashakam Ashwattam Prakuraviyam. The cosmos is described as having roots up and branches down. Because the reason for this is to show that the source of the cosmos is of a subtle nature and situated beyond it. The source of the cosmos is of a subtle nature, the Supreme Lord, and is situated beyond it. Therefore, the material world is described as a upside down tree. Here, the metaphor of a tree is employed to indicate the 3 guṇāvatāras are rooted in the second Purusha. The second Purusha, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, is compared to the Bhuvanadhruma, and from him 3 trunks appear. One is Brahma, another is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, another is the Rudra. And the next anuccheda, Jiva Goswami is quoting another pramana from the 4th canto, 1st chapter, for the 3 guṇāvatāras. Tesham avirbhavo yatha. The 3 guṇāvatāras appear to bless the sage Atri. So you can repeat after me. Tapyamanam tribhuvanam.
Tapyamanam tribhuvanam.
Pranayamaydasagnina.
Pranayamaydasagnina.
Nirgatena munirmurdnaha.
Nirgatena munirmurdaha.
Samikshya prabhavastrayah.
Samikshaya prabhavastrayah.
Apsaro muni gandharva.
Apsaro muni gandharva.
Siddha vidyadharo ragaihi.
Siddha vidyadharo ragai.
Vitayamana yashasaha.
Vitayamana yasasaha.
Tadashramapadam yayuhu.
Tadashramapadam yayuhu.
So how the description of the 3 guṇāvatāras as they gave darshan to Atri Rishi. So Samikshya, seeing the 3 worlds, Prabhavastrayah, being tormented with the fire produced by the fuel of pranayama and raising from the Muni's head, pranayamaida sagnina, nirgatena muner murdnaha. The 3, just like something similar to when Hiranyakashipu performed austerity, the 3 worlds got tormented. When Dhruva Maharaj performed austerities, the Devatas got tormented. Even similarly, when Atri Rishi performed austerities, a fire emanated from his muner murdnaha, from his head. By that pranayamai dasagnina, tribhuvanam tapyamanam. 3 worlds got tormented by the fuel of pranayama and rising from the Muni's head. So seeing that, the 3 lords went to his hermitage. Apsaro Munigandharva Siddha Vidyadharo Ragaihi Vitayabana Yashasas Tad Ashrama Padam Yayuhu. The 3 lords went to his hermitage while being glorified by the Apsaras, Munis, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas and Uragas. So Muni here refers to Atri, Muner Atrehe. A short commentary. So Atri is one of the sons of Brahma. He was ordered by Brahma to create progeny. So Atri went to Riksha mountain to engage in penance, along with his wife Anasuya. Atri and Anasuya, the famous, even in Ramayana also comes. Bhagavad Gita, we say that Sarvameta Tridam Manye Yanma Madasi Keshava Param Brahma Param Dama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibham Ahustva Rishayas Sarve Devarshir Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Pravishimi. Okay, Asita comes. So Atri controlled his mind through pranayama and tolerated the heat and cold for an entire century while standing on one foot. In the course of doing so, he held the following thought in his mind. I seek refuge of him who is the supreme regulator of the universe. May he bless me with offspring like unto himself. I seek refuge of him who is the supreme regulator of the universe. May he bless me with offspring like unto himself. So Atri did not pray to any specific god by name. Therefore, all the three guṇāvatāras, because they are all the three guṇāvatāras are lords of the universe, are regulators of one of the function of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. All three appeared before him. So then Atri Rishi inquired, my intention was that the supreme ruler of the universe may appear to me. But three of you appeared. Which of you then is the one I was invoking? This is what was asked by Atri Rishi. And the gods laughed and answered, three of us taken together represent the truth on which you contemplated. So subsequently, all three of them took partial incarnations as Atri's son. Soma, the moon god, was a partial portion of Brahma. Durvasa was the portion of Lord Shiva. Dattatreya was the portion of Lord Vishnu. So then, after describing the three guṇāvatāras of the Purusha and their functions, according to the three gunas of Prakriti, Jiva Goswami intends to show that Bhagavan Vishnu encompasses and exceeds the other two and is transcendental to Prakriti. So Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are the popular Hindu trinity. And the general feeling among the Hindus is that there is no difference between these three. We can see that in India, by the sheer number of the Shiva temples in India, Lord Shiva seems to be the more popular among the deity of the two among the masses. One or more Shiva lingas can be seen in almost every village of India. The Shiva is called Ashutosh, one who is easily pleased. And this perhaps indicates the reason for his popularity. So Bhagavat Purana itself confirms that Shiva's devotees are opulent. That Shiva's devotees are opulent. So there is little wonder that the masses, they seek the blessings of Lord Shiva. Of course, it does not make him supreme. And this topic will be discussed up to Anuccheda 17. So, but essentially, in this particular Anuccheda, another pramana is given for the three guṇāvatāras. How the three guṇāvatāras appear to Atri Rishi. That much pramana is given. And then third pramana. Next pramana. The first pramana is spoken by Drumila to Nimi. Second pramana is from Brahmaji's prayers. Third pramana is Atri Rishi. Guṇāvatāras appeared to Atri Rishi. And the fourth pramana is from the 10th canto, 89th chapter. So once in the banks of the Saraswati, the sages assembled there and they had a discussion. They started discussing that who is the supreme among the three trinities, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. You can repeat after me. Saratvatyastate Rajan.
Saraswatyastate Rajan.
Rishayas Satramasate.
Rishayas Satramasate.
Vitarkas Samabhutesham.
Vitarka Samabhutecham.
Trishvadisheshu ko mahan.
Trishvadisheshu ko mahan.
So the sages Shukdev Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj, O king, once the sages assembled on the bank of the river Saraswati, and then during the discussion, the question arose as to which of the three regulators, Trishu Adisheshu Ko Mahan, who is supreme, who is paramount among Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So Atra Shri Vishnoho Sthanam Cha Kshirodadikam Padmottara Kandadau Jagat Palana Nimittaka Nivedanartham Brahmadayas Tatra Muhur Gacchati iti Prasiddhe. So the abode of Bhagavan Vishnu is the Kshirodaka, milk ocean, because it is well known in the Uttarakanda of Padma Puran that the Devatas headed by Brahma would go to the milk ocean repeatedly to supplicate the Bhagavan for the protection of the universe. Jagat Palana Nimittaka Nivedanartham Brahmadayas Tatra Muhur Gacchati iti Prasiddhe. Regularly, Brahma and the Devatas would go there. So therefore, the abode of Vishnu is the milk ocean. Vishnu Lokataya Prasiddhescha. And this abode is famous as the also famous as the Vishnu Loka. And Brihat Sahasra Namni cha Shirabdi Mandira iti Tan Namagane Patyate. In the Brihat Sahasra Nama of Padma Puran Uttarakanda, among the names of Bhagavan Vishnu, one of the name is Kshirabdi Mandira, he whose abode is the ocean of milk. Shweta Dvipa Patehe Kvachid Aniruddhataya Kyatischa Tasya Sakshadeva Avirbhava Ityapekshayeti. In some places, the Lord of Shweta Dvipa is called Aniruddha because he is directly the manifestation of Aniruddha. Evam parikshaya tatra tridevyas taratamyam api sputam. In this way, the relative superiority of the three gods is made explicit by means of a test. So, I'll read the commentary to this. So, starting from this section, Jiva Goswami begins to stress the supremacy of Vishnu over Brahma. The previous three anucchedas, he gave three pramanas for the existence of the three guṇāvatāras. Now, from this anuccheda, he is going to describe the superiority of Vishnu over Brahma and Shiva. So, he is referring to an incident from the Bhagavad Purana. Incidentally pointing out that Vishnu's abode is in milk ocean And the story goes that once there was a big conference of the sages on Saraswati river, and question came about who is supreme among the trinities. So Bhrigu Muni was assigned to ascertain the truth. So Bhrigu Muni first went to Brahma in order to test Brahma's forbearance. He neither paid the customary respect nor did he praise him. And Brahma became furious and glared at Bhrigu with eyes rolling on anger. But since the insult had been inflicted by his own son, he tried to control his anger. And then Bhrigu Muni went to Kailash. And seeing Bhrigu Muni approaching, hearing his brother approaching, Lord Shiva got up from his seat and proceeded to embrace Bhrigu Muni. But Bhrigu Muni avoided Shiva, saying that I will not touch you because you are unclean. You have disregarded social convention and you don't follow the injunctions of the Vedas by putting skulls on your body and smearing it with the ashes of the cremated bodies. So hearing this harsh word, Shiva became furious and then he went to attack Bhrigu. But Parvati somehow fell at Shiva's feet and then stopped Shiva from attacking Bhrigu Muni. And then Bhrigu Muni went to Vaikunta. There he observed that Bhagavan was lying down with his head on the lap of Lakshmi Devi. So Bhrigu Muni went and kicked at Vishnu. Then Vishnu, on the other hand, he spoke with great reverence. Please come and have a seat. I was unaware of your arrival. I did not welcome you properly. Please forgive me. And your feet are so soft that my cheeks are so hard. You must be feeling pain by hitting my chest. Then Vishnu started massaging Bhrigu. And then Vishnu said that all my sins have been dispelled with the touch of your feet. So from this day, I have become the sole abode of Lakshmi. She will henceforth dwell on my bosom, bearing the mark of your foot. So Bhrigu Muni felt great joy on hearing this expression of humility from Vishnu. His voice choked up out of devotion and tears fell from his eyes. He could not utter a single word. And then Bhrigu Muni went back to the same assembly of the sages and narrated everything. So Prabhupada writes a famous statement. The greatness of a person has to be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situations in the Krishna book. There is one famous Sunday feast class. The beginning days of my Krishna consciousness when I started coming to temple somewhere in 2000 beginning. Maharaj gave the class. He made all the devotees repeat that statement number of times during that class. So when Bhrigu Muni came and narrated everything, everyone was struck with wonder and they had no doubt about the supremacy of Vishnu, the reservoir of all virtuous qualities. So although the Bhagavatam relates that Bhrigu Muni went to Vaikunta to see Vishnu, Jiva Goswami points out that this would be the this would be the guṇāvatāra form of Vishnu who lies in the milk ocean, which is within the cosmos. So in the Bhagavad Sandarbha 73 and 74, Anuccheda, Jiva Goswami explained that just as Bhagavan appears as an avatar in the material world, similarly his eternal abode also manifests within the cosmos. So a reference to such an appearance is found in the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam. There is one of the Manvantara Avatara called as Vaikunta. So he made an abode for Rama Devi. So that abode is a Vaikunta, but that is like a manifestation of Vaikunta within this world. So the third Purusha is called both Kshirodakshaya Vishnu as well as Aniruddha. So he is called Kshirodakshaya Vishnu because he resides in the milk ocean. He is also called Aniruddha because sometimes Bhagavan Aniruddha personally takes the place of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So the Brihat Sahasranama mentioned in the Anuccheda is spoken by Shiva to Parvati in the Padma Purana. It contains 1000 names of Vishnu. One of the name is the Kshiravdi Mandira. That Kshiravdi Mandira, one who resides upon the milk ocean. In the Uttarakanda of Padma Purana, there is a description of the Devatas headed by Brahma approaching the northern beach of the milk ocean to supplicate Bhagavan Vishnu. And Shweta Dvipa is also another name for the abode of Vishnu. Brahma Samhita also we see that I worship the Shweta Dvipa called Goloka. The Shweta Dvipa and its residents are described in detail in the Narayaniya section of the Mahabharata, which relates Narada's visit to the Shweta Dvipa. So, he has given 4 quotations. Bhagat Sahasranama, and then Uttarakanda of Padma Purana, Brahma Samhita, and Mahabharata Narayaniya section. To show that Shweta Dvipa or the Kshiravdi Sagar is the place where the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, the third Purusha, is lying down. In some Puranas, stories such as this one may be related in a different manner in order to prove the supremacy of Shiva or another deity. There are other Puranas in which the stories are described to show that Shiva is superior or some other Devata is superior to everyone. Because Puranas are also divided into 3 gunas, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. And Satvika Puranas are superior to the other 2 categories. So in the Rajoguna and Tamoguna Puranas, other deities can be Shiva or Brahma or other deities are glorified as the Supreme. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhayarchita michyati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadamyaha sataya shraddhaya yuktas tasyaradana mihate labate tatakaman mayaiva vihitan hita. When a person wants to worship a particular devata, I make the faith of the person steady in order to devote himself to that particular devata. How does Krishna do that? By glorifying that particular devata through the Puranas, through Rajoguna Puranas or Tamoguna Puranas. So Jiva Goswami described that in the Tattva Sandarbha. So, of course, Jiva Goswami established the superiority of Bhagavata Purana over all other Puranas and the Itihasas. Therefore, the conclusion of the Bhagavata Purana that has the higher authority than the other Puranas. So this is the 11th Anuccheda. And then in the 12th Anuccheda, he is giving another quotation to show that the superiority of Vishnu over Brahma and Shiva. The famous shloka from the first canto, 2nd chapter. You can repeat after me. Sattvam rajastama iti prakritir gunastaihi.
Sattvam rajastam iti prakritir gunastayir
Yukta para purusha eka ihasya datte.
yukta para purusha eka ihasya dritte
Sthityadayo shiva virinchi hareti sanya.
Tityadaye hiri virinchi hareti sagnya
Shreyamsi tatra khalu sattvatanor nृणां स्युः.
Shreyansi tatra khalu sattva tano nrinam syuhu.
So
The
Sattva Guna, Rajoguna.
Tya Sthitatyadaye Hari Virinche Hareti. Then how do you say that? Sangnya.
Sanyaha.
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 Okay.
Sityadayo Hari Virinchi Hareti Sanyaha. Sanya Shreyamsi Tatra Kalu Sattvatanor Nrinam Syuhu. So the Visarga followed by Shakara, that Visarga is pronounced like a Shakara only. Visarga followed by Shakara, that Visarga is pronounced like a Shakara. Visarga followed by Sakara is pronounced as a Sakara. So if I'm chanting the third line separately, then I pronounce the Visarga distinctly. Thityadayo Hari Virinchi Hareti Sanyaha. But if I'm chanting the shloka continuously, Thityadayo Hari Virinchi Hareti Sanya Shreyamsi Tatra Kalu Sattvatano Nrinam Syuhu. So that Visarga is pronounced like a Shakara only. So Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are the three gunas of Prakriti. Accepting these for the sustenance, creation and dissolution of the material world, the one supreme person assumes three names: Hara, Virinchi and Hara. Hari, Virinchi and Hara. But among these three, Shreyamsi Tatra Kalu Sattvatano Nrinam Syuhu. This is the important line of the shloka. Among these three, it is from Vishnu alone, who is the embodiment of Sattva, Sattva Tanu. The true benefits for human beings are to be obtained. Shreyamsi. Iha Yadyap Eka Eva Parapuman Asya Vishwasya Sthityadaye Srishti Sthiti Layartam Taihi Sattvadibir Yuktaha Prutak Tattat Adhishtata Tatapi Parastat Samshlishtaha San Hari Virincha Hareti Sanya Bhinna Datte Tat Rupena Avirbhavati Ityartaha. Here, although the one transcendental Purusha, for the sake of sustenance, creation and dissolution of this universe, is connected separately with each of the three gunas as their presiding deities, he still remains transcendental and untouched by them. Tatapi parastad asamshlishtaha, san, untouched by them. And he takes the separate appellations of Hari, Virinchi and Hara, meaning that Bhagavan appears in the forms of these three deities. Tatapi Tatra Tesham Madhye Shreyamsi Dharmartha Kama Moksha Bhaktyakyani Shubhapalani Sattvatonor Adhishtata Sattvashaktehe Shri Vishnoreva Syuhu. Nonetheless, of these three, it is from Vishnu alone, who presides over the power of Sattva Guna, that the true benefits of human life, namely the auspicious fruits called Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha and Bhakti, are to be obtained. So another 5 minutes, I'll complete this anuccheda. Commentary will take at the next step. So, Ayam Bhava. Upadi Drishtya Tau Dvau Sevamane Rajastama Tamasor Gora Mudatvat Bhavantopi Dharmartha Kama Na Ati Sukada Bhavanti. If Brahma and Shiva are worshipped as the limited with Upadi, Upadi Drishtya Tau Dvau Sevamanav. Brahma and Shiva are worshipped as limited with Upadis. That means Brahma and Shiva are worshipped as the devatas in charge of the respective gunas. That because Rajoguna and Tamoguna are distressful, Gora Mudatvat, and bewildering. Even if one should attain the fruits of Dharma, Artha and Kama, they will not be very pleasing. Na ati sukada bhavanti. Tato upadi tyagena sevamane bhavan api moksho na sakshan na cha jhatiti. And suppose if a person worships Brahma and Shiva as without any upadi, that means taking them as identical to the Supreme and free of any guna. If they are worshipped as identical to the Supreme and free of any guna, then even if moksha were to occur, it would neither come directly from them nor be realized swiftly, na jatiti. No. And then he says, Kintu katamapi paramatmamsha eva ayam it anusandana abhyasenaiva paramatmana eva bhavati. Rather, if Brahma and Shiva are worshipped in the constant understanding that they are both parts of Paramatma, Paramatma Amsha Eva, that is, they are avatars of Paramatma, then only liberation is to be attained. And that too only from Paramatma alone. Anusandana abhyasenaiva paramatmana eva bhavati. Tatra tratra sakshat paramatma karena aprakashat tasmat tabhyam shreyamsi na bhavanti. But since Paramatma is not directly manifest in the forms of Shiva or Brahma, the ultimate welfare does not proceed directly from them. The ultimate welfare, Sakshat Paramatma Akarena Aprakashat Tasmat Thabhyam Shreyamsi na Bhavanti. Since Paramatma is not directly manifest in the forms of Shiva or Brahma, the ultimate welfare does not proceed directly from them. So we will continue. So 2 more paragraphs are there, but we'll do it in the next class. This is an important point because Jiva Goswami is elaborating the 4th line. Shreyamsi tatra kalu satvatano nrinamsi. So in this paragraph, essentially he said that if Brahma and Shiva are worshipped with upadis, that means as devatas in charge of the respective gunas, then even if a person, he can only obtain the results of dharma, artha and kama, but that will not also not be very pleasing. If a person worships them without any upadis, then even if moksha were to occur, it would neither come directly from them, and nor would it come very fast. It would not come quickly. So the third point is that only if they are worshipped as the parts of Paramatma, then liberation will be obtained. At the avatars of Paramatma, then the liberation will be obtained. And that liberation will come from Paramatma alone. And also, because Paramatma is not directly manifest in the forms of Brahma and Shiva, the Shreya, the ultimate welfare, will not proceed directly from them. The ultimate welfare, Shreyamsi, will come only when a person worships the form of Vishnu. That he will explain the next paragraph. So this time, so I'll end here. So this purport is also important purport. Take it up next week. Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Any
thank
other
you,
questions?
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, you'll send the recording, no? Tomorrow, day after.
I'll send it.
Yeah. Saturday again, we have to.
Any questions? We'll end here. No, please. We discussed 3 shlokas for the as the pramana for the 3 guṇāvatāras, and then to prove the superior, the popular notion is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva all are same. But who is the Vishnu is superior to Brahma and Shiva. For that, the first shloka we quoted from the 10th canto, 89th chapter. The second shloka is from the first canto, 2nd chapter. And that shloka is being discussed in this anuccheda. So this is the important, 12th anuccheda is important, this one. We'll discuss in detail. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय.
Prabhuji, this last part, no, little bit was not understanding. So in the next class, we can start from here. That
Okay.
if Paramatma means would have given the liberation, then Brahma and Shiva would not be the supreme and all that, this point. So last we will start from here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir.